Welcome back, CSE 3200 Yukon Stores. We are in video 5 of chapter 12 on databases and coroutines, and we've been spending the last 2 videos setting up our database. Just want to recap real quick that creating the database was a 3-step process. The first thing we had to do was annotate our data class so that it would be set up as an entity. The second thing we did is we had to create the file for the database itself. And then the third thing we did was that we created a type converter because our room database, which is behind the scenes SQLite, it knows how to store things like primitives, enums, and UUIDs, which is important because that is going to be our primary key. But it does not know how to store something else, like in our case, a date. So we needed something that would be able to convert something that is a date to something that needs to be stored, and then on the other end, retrieve something that is stored into a date. All right, and so the step that we are going to do in this video is we are going to create a repository class, and that is simply responsible for all the logic that allows us to access our database. It contains the logic for how the data is going to actually be stored and fetched. Now I already have this file set up to go. It's over here, so if you haven't done it yet, you're going to have to create it. Go to Big Nerd Ranch, com.bignerdranch.android, right-click and create a Kotlin class. Call it CrimeRepository. All right, take a look. We have a private constructor. We do not want any rogue elements to be able to modify our database, so we need to encapsulate that. It's been a while since we used a companion object. The last time we did this was in I think chapter 7 of the textbook when we were finishing up our geo quiz. Okay, so remember that a companion object is like a static class in Java. It allows us to have access to a class without actually making an instance of that class. All right, so let's take a look at what is going on here with our initialize function. I'm going to note that our crime repository needs to be a singleton. And you may have come up with this code if you've done enough coding in your experience so far, something that would make exactly one thing ever. So if we start off with it's null, and we will set it up by making it something other than null if it is currently null. Otherwise, we won't. This is going to guarantee that we only have one instance of our class, and that is going to be important. All right, so let's take a look down here. We are going to throw an illegal state exception if the crime repository is not initialized. So we absolutely have to make certain that we get it initialized as soon as possible. And the way to do that is to initialize at the application level, which we have not done before. To do this, we're going to create another class, and again, I have that all set up. It is my criminal intent application. So again, right-click this level and add that file. All right, so the key here is we want to extend application. If we do that, then it is going to allow us access as soon as the application is created. We'll override the onCreate function and call CrimeRepository.initialize. The application onCreate is going to be called when the app is first loaded into memory, and it is not going to be recreated on configuration changes. It'll be destroyed when the app process is destroyed. So it's a good place for one-time initialization processes. Alone, this doesn't quite do the trick. You're going to have to go into the Android manifest and right under application, very first line, add this. Android name is equal to .criminal intent application. With that, you're all set up with making your crime repository initialize as soon as the application starts. Now we got to go back into our crime repository and we need to hook this up with our database. We need to add a reference to our database. I am going to put private constant val database name is equal to, double quotes, crime dash database. Okay. So now we're going to make a concrete implementation of our abstract crime database. Right in front of companion object, we're going to put private val database of type crime database, crime database is equal to room. Now this is kind of a long function, so I'm going to continue it on the next line. Let's do our import first. Nope. That's not the problem. This needs to be lowercase. Okay, so space, 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 dot database builder, parentheses, hit enter in between. The first argument, context, dot application context, comma, second argument, crime database, colon, class.java, and final argument, database underscore name, which we put up top. All right, come outside of the parentheses, and we go dot build, paren. And finally, we're going to fill out the crime repository so our other components can perform any operations they need on the database. We're going to do that by adding in two suspend functions. Suspend fun get crimes, paren, colon, list of crime objects is equal to database dot crimeDAO dot get crimes. And one more, suspend fun get crime, paren, inside the parentheses, ID of type UUID, outside the parentheses, colon, crime equals database dot crimeDAO dot get crime. And this one passes in ID, and we should be all set. Now there was an error in there. You might have seen it underlined, but that has to do with the fact that this is a video remake. I had actually gone through the complete set of videos, and when I went to go edit those videos, the the video 5 was simply missing. It was lost in the ether. The error that you see there is because the code for flow and state flow is already in there behind the scenes, and so that one line of code doesn't work anymore. But that should do it. We have now pretty much created our database with these three steps, In video 6, we will import our data from bigdirtranch.com so that we can see 100 unique, some solved, some not solved crimes. And we will finish up our database and make it work more than once in our 7th video. So I will see you in video 6 soon.